I welcome y'all to the PPL Live Show. Shit's liver than a California sideshow. On the board, all the teams talking mad shit, especially when the squad gets their ass kicked. PPL's like a bad bitch with an ass lift. Everybody wants to get some action. Making trades while we're drafting. One of a kind, no other they can match it. PPL ever coming to you live. 12 years strong and we're never gonna die. Real talk so you know we'll never lie. Betting down 50 trying to win the whole pie. Let's get this shit cracking. Welcome to the best sports show on the planet. Damn it. Tune in to the PPL Live Show. Kick your feet up like the blunt, get your eyes low. PPL gets you ready for the week. Co-host Matt Page shows hate when he speaks. Gino and the Jake gonna speak what he see. PPL motherfucker, I'm a OG. I'm ready for the shit to get started. Time to find out who's good and who's garbage. It's time to find out who the next champ is. Trying to win the whole pot, time to go cash in. World War III, time to load up your team. Hit the battlefield, leaving blood on the scene. You can speak what you think, I don't care what you mean. Focused on me, steady building my team. Now I'm sicker than COVID-19. EJ hops on the throne, but I'm coming for a seat. So's everyone else in the league. I just don't see a challenger stronger than me. With that said, dog, I'm ready for war now. Like I'm strapped in the hood, kicking doors down. PPL is my game now. Used to be fun, but the shit ain't a game now. Bringing the pain now. Opposition's laid down. Done with the flow, dog. Nothing left to say now.
And that was our man Charlie White giving us the 2020 intro to PPL Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Gino the Gent here. Interconference warfare is over. We are back. We are in the stretch run. And Ulysses S. Hate is back. PPL Live is back. And let's jump right in. Let's get through week 8. And let's get our eye into week 9 as Alpha and Omega go back into conference warfare. But let's start with our week 8 scores. Starting with the Argonauts defeating the Gaff Attack in the prestige matchup of the week. 147-83. The United Players, the Destroyers, get in the winners column, putting up a respectable 120 to the Baby Gas team's meager 55. Patty's Twins leave no doubt on squad underestimated, whose season is very much in doubt now. Only for the boss keeps their strong season going with another strong effort, scoring 139 to the Skulls 101. And the Mean Machine finds another way to get another dub, going to 6-2, defeating Appease the Gods 100-64. Alrighty, and we've got to give out our Leave No Doubt Player of the Week. It's unanimous again, and I mean, when you put up a performance like this, I don't think there is much room for debate. We are both going with Dalvin Cook of the Argonauts. Yes, Dalvin was the Leave No Doubt Player of the Week in the prestige matchup of the week, pacing the Argonauts, the champs, to a big scoring effort as he had 163 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing and had another 6 catches for a touchdown and 63 yards receiving to lead the way for the Argonauts. Now we turn to week 9. And we jump into our first matchup. Start off in the Omega Conference in a huge battle for Omega Conference positioning as the Skulls take on the Gaff Attack. All right, man, so the Skulls, they took on Only for the Boss, came up short by 39 points. They did miss Aaron Jones, who was out of the lineup for them. DK Metcalf had a big game, but it wasn't enough as Patrick Mahomes and Only for the Boss rolled. And then, of course, the Gaff fell in the prestige matchup of the week to the Argonauts behind Dalvin Cook's 50 points. The Gaff only really got production from Russell Wilson. Leonard Fournette was nowhere to be found. But, of course, they get DeAndre Hopkins back. What do you think of this Omega Conference game? It's a big one for the Skulls and for the Gaff. What do you think of this one, man?
Yeah, I think that this one has major playoff implications for Omega. I think if the Skulls lose this game, I don't really see them being in a position to string enough wins to get to a playoff position. I think that goes for all the 4-4 teams this week,
sure.
Especially Omega. I think Omega's the weaker conference, and I think they're going to have a hard time sending 2 teams. But for those 2 teams, they're going to have to be strong down the stretch. That being said, I've been going back and forth on this matchup. I actually like both lineups.
Mm-hmm.
I like them top to bottom. I like that the Skulls went out Drew Brees. I think he adds a different dynamic and scoring potential and excitement that Deshaun Watson can or cannot have.
Okay.
I mean, Drew's just consistent. McLaurin, I mean, obviously a draft pick of the Argos, so it didn't necessarily go to plan, but I don't think that necessarily is down on this kid. It just speaks to more so to the depth of that roster. So I think we're going to see more of him here. As you said, Jones back in the lineup. The combination of Seattle wide receivers, I think, kind of handcuffs the Gaff to a degree here, because if Russell Wilson goes off, it's going to be these guys. Conversely, if he stumbles, it's going to have a double impact on the Skulls.
Right.
That being the case, I like the defenses. I like the head coaches for both teams. The one thing I probably have is a knock on the Gaff, and it's just that he has a lot of Tennessee Titans. I mean, he's got
Right.
AJ Brown, he's got GENO, and he's got the coach. If the Bears show up, which, I mean, hell, Tennessee's the better team, but we've seen a lot of better teams lose this season.
Right.
So to me, that's,
and we saw that bite them last week, Ulysses.
Yeah, we did, and I actually think that Chicago gets right this week. I don't think it's pretty. I don't think it's anything stellar, but I think it's enough to knock the Gaff off this week. I think they're still well positioned. I think the Skulls are still positioning themselves for a playoff run. I think that they win this week. I'm going to say that they get it 125 to 121.
The Skulls.
Skulls.
All right, man. I'm going to have to go the other way, man. I think that the Gaff attack is going to get back on track. I do like the Drew Brees trade. It does bring like you said, it brings a calming presence to the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson, he's a big play guy. Drew Brees is more of a methodical guy. And I think maybe with the Skulls having such high scoring potential at other places, they probably just need a guy that's going to get them that solid 17 to 20 a week, as opposed to the range that Deshaun Watson offers. So I agree with you there. McLaren is going to get targeted like crazy in that Washington offense, so that wasn't a bad trade for him. And he's crazy deep at wide receiver, so I like the Skulls there. But the reason that I'm really looking at the Gaff attack is because I think that the Tennessee Titans are going to get right. I think that the passing game has nowhere to go but up. Corey Davis made his presence felt, and I think that slowed A.J. Brown down. But let's make no mistake about it. A.J. Brown's a great young receiver. I think that he's really starting to come into his own. D-Hop is back. And he's a big part of what the Gaff attack is trying to do out there as far as setting the pace for what they're trying to do from a scoring position. But what didn't come through for them, all season, has been the intangibles. I think they get the intangibles back with Baltimore's defense. Phillip Rivers does not scare me. I like that play. I do like Tennessee going up against Chicago. Chicago traveling on the road. They can't figure it out on offense right now. I like Tennessee in that game. On the Skull side, I do like Arizona against Miami. But I don't like Chicago's defense. And I think that the running game for the Skulls is going to be slowed down. I don't like Dwayne Harris. I think New England running game is unpredictable. I think Fournette and Gurley do much better this week on the ground. I got the Gaff attack winning this matchup 118 to the Skulls. I think they actually are slowed down scoring this week, 117. Very close. Moving on to our next matchup. We go into the Alpha Conference for a showdown between two teams that just recently made a big-time trade, as the Baby Gas team takes on the Argonauts. All right, man, so the BGT, putrid effort last week, only 55 points, left AB in the lineup when it was apparent AB wasn't going to play. I know he was anxious to get his new guys in the lineup, but it didn't work out too well. Josh Jacobs did run for over 130 yards and had a big day. And Big Ben wasn't really all that impressive. DJ Moore was nowhere to be found. And they really didn't get much out of any of their guys last week. Now, of course, on the Argonauts side, the trade worked out for them. They got the big 50 out of the Leave No Doubt Player of the Week, Dalvin Cook. Devontae Adams continues to be a monster. We saw that a little bit earlier tonight. And then they obviously just made the trade for Deshaun Watson. What do you think of this Alpha Conference game, BGT Argo?
Yeah, I mean, BGT coming off a tough loss. I mean, as bad as the UP are losing to them, not a good look. I think that the trade actually probably makes them a better team. This team is not beat this season. Injuries, just some I fundamentally just don't see a way that they win this matchup.
Okay.
Talent-wise, they're not on par, and I mean, the one kind of intangible here is, they're rolling hard with the Texans defense and head coach. Well, if those are to be successful, Deshaun's going to play a big part in that.
Right.
Patriots are playing the Jets. I think that this is heading for a rout. I've got the Argos winning this comfortably, 138 to 102.
All right, man, I'm going to have to agree with you here. I think that the Argonauts also win this matchup. I thought that the Baby Gas team might have a few openings if a few intangibles for the Argonauts didn't show up. And, I mean, maybe the opening still exists there, but the effort Devontae Adams put in early, I think, also has put the Argonauts on a pretty good pace. I think that Jordan Reed's already proven to be a big disappointment. That could have been an opening there, or could be an opening there. And maybe if the running game is very successful again, Jordan Jefferson's not very effective. Obviously, Julio Jones is going to get more targets with Calvin Ridley out there. But on the BGT side, I love Big Ben's matchup against the Dallas defense. That defense is not very good. I don't care how good Carson Wentz made it look. Josh Jacobs gets another good matchup against the Chargers defense. I think that he'll be able to play well. And I like Melvin Gordon to have a big bounce-back game against the Atlanta Falcons. So it's not exactly out of the woods for the BGT to make a run here, but I'm with you. I think that the Argonauts present too much of a challenge. I think with them acquiring Deshaun Watson, they get quarterback scoring that can probably match some of the top teams in the league. So this is probably a week they probably want to see some good things. I got the Argonauts winning this matchup 134 to the BGT's 114. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into our inter-conference matchup of the week. These two teams remain in inter-conference warfare as the United Players, the Destroyers, take on Squad Underestimated. All right, man, so the United Players, the Destroyers, got their first win of the season. I mean, they were close a few times to having wins this year, so it's not a surprise. These guys were the Omega Conference champions, 10-3. They sat on the Imperial throne. Fell, just points short of a Pantheon Cup title. Man, now they're sitting at 1-7, led by Josh Allen. And then obviously Squad Underestimated, man. Tough loss to Patty's Twins in probably one of their, not a must-win for them, but a game that they really needed. What do you think of this matchup? Squad obviously gets Christian McCaffrey back, and Kyler Murray is back in the lineup from the bye week. So they got some big-time scoring potential at the QB and RB position. But what do you think of this matchup?
Well, I mean, UP showed what it takes to win games, and it's attentiveness.
Right.
And they looked at the matchup. They actually set the best lineup that could go forward, and they won some games.
Okay.
And I think that they could have won more games. This team, as you said, was a conference champion last year, and I hope that they wake up. That being said, I look at the other side. Tough loss for Squad. I think that they needed to win that matchup, and I think that that they get the death knell this week. I'll just say that teams that are going to be in any kind of playoff format, they're not starting a Jermichael Hasty, they're not starting a Darnell Mooney. So I'm just looking at the other side of the lineup. I think that the matchups are there.
Okay.
Injuries have depleted Squad. Squad's doing the best that he can with what he has to deal with. I mean,
right.
Christian McCaffrey's coming back, but they're playing Kansas City. I expect them to be behind, and Christian McCaffrey, I mean, maybe catching, but I also wouldn't be pushing him if I'm Carolina.
Right.
This is your running back for the future. This is a lost season.
Yeah.
Don't throw it away.
True.
And also, I'm not sold that the Bucs are going to beat New Orleans. I think that that's got a high scoring potential to it, and New Orleans to me has just as much of a shot in that game, and so he's throwing a lot on that. Frankly, I think that as unlikely as it is, the UP streak puts together a winning streak this season. I think that they're going to get this one in the end. I think Kansas City rolls in Carolina. I think the Steelers are going to do work in Dallas. I'm not so sure about the Bucs. So I think that the UP actually win this, I mean, in a realm of comfort. I'm going to say that they get another score in the 120s. I'm going to say 121 to Squad's 108.
Wow. I'm going the other way, man. And I'm going the other way for a couple of reasons. I don't know if there's anybody. I mean, maybe Derrick Henry, but I don't think he'll do it against the Chicago run defense. I don't know if there's anybody that can match what I think Kyler and Christian McCaffrey can do. Yeah, man, you're right. Kansas City will probably be ahead, but they throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey like crazy. This guy's a crazy run after the catch warrior. I think that Christian McCaffrey probably comes back with a big game for squad underestimated, and I think Kyler Murray runs circles around the Miami Dolphins, so I think that he's really strong up there. Adam Thielen has a good matchup against Detroit. I'm with you on the Mooney Hasty thing, especially when you have McKinnon sitting on the bench there. And, I mean, you probably could have even gone out in free agency and done something. But, I mean, I'm looking at the United players, man, and I don't know I'm not seeing the same thing. Now, he did get the better of squad tonight, and maybe that could be a sign of things to come. Travis Irvin was a much better play than Hasty. He got him a solid 9.2. But Josh Allen started hot. He's cooling off. Derrick Henry, he's up and down, and I like Chicago's run defense to play decent against the Titans. I think that the Titans will get it done in the air. I don't really like the receiver plays, Beasley and Anderson. And Swift is a dice roll. I love Gronk, but I don't love much else. Pittsburgh obviously is a great play. Kansas City is a great play. And I see what you mean about Tampa Bay, but I think Tampa Bay wants to make a statement this week. And I think squad, like I said, keeps their season alive. I got squad underestimated winning this matchup 113 to 107. And moving on to our next matchup, we go back into the Omega Conference as an old rivalry takes shape. A Pantheon Cup rematch from Pantheon Cup 7 as Appease the Gods takes on Patty's Twins. All right, man. So ATG, man, they were looking like the toast of the town early on in the season. Started the season looking strong roster-wise, scoring-wise. Things have slowed down, especially with player acquisitions and injuries and things like that. Patty's Twins, it looks like they're starting to hit their stride. Aaron Rodgers putting on another huge day tonight. That's probably going to propel them forward with another high-scoring effort like they've had over the last 2 weeks. They left no doubt, man, and they off to a pretty good start this week. What do you think of this matchup, ATG, Patty's Twins, Omega Conference?
Yeah, I mean, of two teams at this point, I think Appease the Gods, I think they peaked way early, and maybe in the draft. It really hasn't unfolded the way that they thought.
Okay.
I mean, we're at a point in the season where teams just have to get real. Lamar, he's not the same guy since he lost that playoff game last season.
Wow.
We saw it when he played the Chiefs earlier this year. We saw it this past weekend with Pittsburgh. I think he struggles.
They were putting a hat on him, man.
I think Indianapolis gives them trouble too. They're a solid team with a good defense.
Okay.
And again, I'm not petrified of this Baltimore team. Again, the Bears guys have been the most consistent on this football team.
Sure.
Marquise Brown is actually having beef with Lamar about targets. I mean, you go down the line, it just hasn't. It hasn't panned out the way it was anticipated. You look at the other side. Aaron had a very strong showing. I mean, the rest of the lineup is solid, and the coach is going to win. And I think that defense plays well. I think that, again, Twins are treading in the right direction after having some devastating early injuries. I think they get another win this week and position themselves well and move into second place in Omega and really start fortifying a playoff push. I've got the Twins winning 137 to 124.
All right, man. I'm going to have to agree with you here, man. I mean, I'm with you with ATG, man. This was a team that I thought had Pantheon Cup aspirations. I mean, and not that they're out of the woods or anything, but when you look at Lamar, who is their best player, he's the guy that paces them. He's not giving them those dynamic scoring opportunities. You need that 30 points from Lamar because you don't know what you're going to get from a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You might need 40 from Lamar to cover from a horrible day from Noah Fant, and he's just not getting it. And it's pretty unfortunate because you're seeing a hard regression from Lamar Jackson, a guy that I had really high hopes for coming into this season. But let's go down the line here. It's not just Lamar. As good as Allen Robinson is, if Chicago just had competency, and when I say competency, I mean just, C to B- level play at quarterback, Allen Robinson would probably have much more yards and touchdowns than he has. I mean, the fact that he's able to do that in that offense still speaks volumes, and he has been pretty consistent for ATG. But that's the problem. If he's one of your most consistent guys, there's nowhere to go. Mike Evans, I mean, he's saying all the right things about being with Tom. Now they add AB, who's staying at Tom's house. I mean, if you Mike Evans, you got to kind of be looking at this situation a little sideways. I mean, he's trying to keep him happy by targeting him in the red zone. But you know Mike Evans wants a few more catches than he's been getting lately. I mean, he did have a solid 5 catches for 55 yards. But Mike Evans is a guy that's used to about eight catches for about 100 yards and a touchdown. Noah Fant, I like him because I like what Drew Lock's turning into. And Marquise Hollywood Brown, I mean, if you complaining about targets, man, I don't like your play. I mean, you know what? They might force him the ball, so that might work out for ATG. Now, on Patty's twin side, I'm with you, man. Aaron Rodgers, he's proven a point this year. He's showing that, hey, I'm still here, and if you put me up against an inferior team, I'm going to shit on him. And that's what he did tonight, and I think that's what he's going to continue to do through this schedule. I like Patty's Twins as a late team to possibly steal a playoff spot. They're winning all the right matchups, and they're playing a lot of those 4-4, 5-3 teams down the line, Ulysses. So it's important that they probably get this one. And I got them getting this one. I think that Keenan Allen has a great game, and I love the Chase Edmonds play. I got Patty's Twins winning this matchup 127 to appease the gods, 117. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week. We go into the Alpha Conference for a high-scoring affair as the first-place Mean Machine takes on the high-scoring only for the Boss. All right, man, this matchup is so good. It's so exciting. It's got such, juice to it that is going to be the prestige matchup of the week for the second time. It was the prestige matchup of the week a few weeks ago. We're going right back into it, only for the Boss. Mean Machine here. Obviously, Mean Machine brings in Justin Herbert. Only for the Boss has Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill. Man, what you think of this matchup?
I mean, I look at up and down the roster for only for the Boss, and there's only one matchup I don't like, and that's head coach. I mean,
wow.
I think that the Seahawks have potential to lose that game.
Okay.
West Coast team going to Buffalo. I think Buffalo can get right, but just looking at this roster, I mean, Kansas City, all the QB, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, they should all have really good games against Carolina. I expect this New Orleans-Tampa Bay game to be a shootout. I think both running backs, Alvin Kamara and Ronald Jones, for both teams should go off.
Okay.
I think Pittsburgh's going to be all over Dallas. Perfect setup for James Conner. Decimated Denver team that Calvin Ridley could have a day with. Again, if Buffalo's
Calvin's out, actually, I'm looking here to hear Ulysses. Calvin's out. So no Ridley. So the Boss is going to have to either go into free agency or maybe roll the dice with a guy like Henry Ruggs III. So what do you think of that?
Well, see, I mean, I guess that is a wrinkle then, because I definitely don't love the head coach pick there. On the other side, though, I think, Justin Herbert's been on fire. I think he kind of has a come to earth week, playing against a Vegas team that is used to seeing this Chargers team.
Okay.
So I think that
divisional matchup.
Yeah, they're gonna know the scheme a little bit better. And they've had a chance to get some tape now on Justin Herbert,
okay,
and kind of see how they can game plan for it. I mean, this team did box in Mahomes. I mean, not entirely, but if they could get at him, they can get at Justin Herbert.
Right.
So James Robinson should be fine. I think, again, this Michael Thomas play, I think I was leaning only for the Boss, but, with the development of Calvin Ridley being out, I think with that and where I'm at with the Seahawks, I actually think that I still think that they get it.
Okay.
Even if Justin Herbert and Hunter Henry don't have as good of games, I think that they win still, which hurts his head coach. I think that he should. I think both teams should change their head coaches. I think that there are safer plays out there.
Right.
With the scoring potential, you look at what Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Kelsey have done this year.
Yeah.
And last week they casually put up 80 between the three of them.
Right.
So, it's hard to match that scoring potential. For that reason, I think that it lives up to the hype, and Only for the Boss leaves no doubt 138 to 133.
Okay. Man, this matchup is so good. You're right, man. But I'm going to go the other way. I'm going with the machine. The Houston Texans have the 30th ranked run defense in the league. The Jacksonville Jaguars are down their starting quarterback. So I think this Robinson kid, who right now is ranked 4th in the PPL as running back, and that's been very, very, very silent. I have not shot that out on the show, even though I've known it for a while. We got to give Mean Machine props here. Two of his top guys are Herbert and Robinson. Those guys were free agency guys. The Machine has always been able to collect spare parts, and they've done a great job of it this year. Alvin Kamara obviously is a mainstay. They get Michael Thomas back. The DJ Shark play, I don't like that play just based on the fact that it's not Minshew throwing him the football. Hunter Henry's not been that great of a tight end so far this season, but it's still a good connection to have with your QB. Brandon Cooks has a good matchup. Mean Machine looks pretty good here. Now, for Only for the Boss, I think adjustments are going to have to be made. And this is good. We're getting to the point of the season now where Only for the Boss is going to have to start making the right decisions to get that playoff spot. I think that is getting very competitive now. They're ahead in the wild card race right now. But if they slip, somebody else is going to overtake them. And this is when they got to make the right head coach calls, when they've got to substitute for a receiver who might be banged up. And I don't know if they're going to do the right calls here. I'm going to go with the Mean Machine overcoming some things. I think Carolina kind of slows down the Chiefs, not in any really effective way, but just slows them down a little bit, being that it's an NFC team playing an AFC team. You know, maybe they don't go off for 80 apiece. Maybe they get, or 80 together. They get, maybe 40 or 50 together. I got Mean Machine winning this matchup 131 to Only for the Boss's 124. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor. Have a good weekend.